David Gogins is one of the most influential motivational speakers, but what is motivation? Well, let's start off with that. Motivation is created through dopamine and epinephrine, mostly dopamine. But what is dopamine? It is a feel-good hormone. So if we're ever gonna talk about motivation, we are also talking about dopamine. What does dopamine do to your body? Well, it spikes at different time periods, and all those different time periods mean different things. Let's grab a couple of examples. Example number one, a cocaine addict. When a cocaine addict hears or sees cocaine, what is his first instinct? His first instinct isn't to be like, that's not healthy, I'm not doing that. It is, I want to sniff that shit. Where does he get that motivation? The people who aren't addicted to cocaine, they don't want to do that. They know it's not good for them. So where? From the dopamine. The dopamine spikes instantly as soon as they see it. They did a test on a cocaine addict. They flashed a picture right in front of his eyes. He didn't even see the picture, but he and his brain were like, I want to sniff cocaine. He didn't even see it. And dopamine instantly spiked. And it made him want to do it. Okay, that's a bad example. Next, good example. Number two, cold shower. When you take a cold shower, as soon as you take it, is there dopamine? Absolutely not. There is adrenaline. Adrenaline spikes. When you're done with the cold shower, you still have adrenaline. After the cold shower, you get a dopamine rush. That is like this high, and slowly after like 24 hours, it goes above your baseline. This is your baseline, it goes above it. If you fucking do cocaine, it goes below your baseline. Simple as that. Dopamine. I'm gonna tell you a quick backstory to dopamine. Dopamine, as we know it, is like the villain lurking in the background. It's not. It is the savior of humanity. Without dopamine, we'd all be dead. Okay? All of us. We wouldn't want to do jack shit. Okay? Oh, I want to eat food, but I gotta go hunt for the food. Don't feel motivated. I'ma just lay. Next thing you know, everybody dies without food. I'm too lazy to go fucking buy some groceries because you don't have dopamine. Okay? Dopamine is attracted to tasks. Oh, task is go get food. Ooh, dopamine rush. Let's go get it. Exactly. Why do depressed people not do that? Why do depressed people stay in one room 24/7 like this on their phone scrolling? Of course you're depressed. I bet if you fucking did a bit of exercise, went outside on walks, you wouldn't be depressed. No shot. A human that goes outside, touches grass, climbs trees, he ain't depressed. A human that acts like a monkey, impossible to be depressed. By the way, I do that. Nonetheless, dopamine isn't the villain hiding in the darkness. You know who it is? It's the big ass companies that make all these things that attract your dopamine. For example, nicotine. For example, vapes. Oh, my vape's not tiring. Yeah, shut the hell up. Or like social media. Your YouTube shorts, TikTok, Instagram reels. They're siphoning your dopamine. If there was a big ass siphon just to get those dopamine, bro, they can eat your dopamine for breakfast, those big companies. Those big companies are eating your dopamine for breakfast just because you're scrolling endlessly. No wonder there's so many depressed people. And that is still on a rise. That's why I'm telling you this shit, so that you don't end up like it. No man on this planet should be depressed. Of course, I don't want it for them. I don't want anybody to be depressed. But it's, to be honest, a personal choice. You take the path and you stay there. Let me tell you a quick story of a man in the desert. This man is walking kilometers on end in the desert, searching for a body of water. Do you think he's motivated at this moment? Of course not. He is not motivated, but driven by the fact he doesn't want to die. He walks, and he sees a body of water, a body of drinkable water. That's what he was searching for. And he sprints over there, for he does not care. It is 2 kilometers away, and he ran that. But previously, he felt like he was about to die. That is external motivation. Something motivates you externally. Okay? And in life, there is a lot of stuff that could externally motivate you. Might that be cocaine, like we talked about? You see the cocaine, you get externally motivated to go sniff it. You see a pair of dumbbells, you get externally motivated to exercise. Or you put your book always on the same spot, so when you come in your room, you see the book, you're like, let me read some of my book. Yeah, and you get that motivation. Another external factor that could motivate you. Of course, there's 2 types of motivation. That's internal and external. Extrinsic, intrinsic. But I find it that intrinsic motivation is one of the most powerful ones that there is. I'm gonna tell you a couple of ways you can use intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic is, like I said, the most powerful of the 2. Well, you could say this could be fun, or you could be like, damn, I hate doing this, but I'd rather do this than do something else. Like, there's people out there, they'd rather exercise than take a cold shower. So when they're taking the cold shower, maybe they find something even less nice, like, oh, no problem, like doing their homework. They'd rather take a cold shower than do their homework. So they're like, yeah, and they get motivated to go in. Of course, that is motivation, not really a lot of dopamine involved in that. But afterwards, they are glad they did it, okay? But then discipline, you can't get that far with it. That's why I'm really brushing up on this motivation thing. Discipline, it is best used wisely. As much as possible, preserve your discipline, okay? Make it so that all of the cues in your room, make it as effortless as possible to do everything with just motivation and not discipline. Of course, you can toughen it and make it better, your discipline, make it more long lasting. I don't know, like train yourself. Like, you've got difficulty with your favorite chocolate bar, you get one of these, you put it right there and see how long it will take you for not to eat it. Of course, I've already got one there, and it's been almost a month. It expires on September 1st. No, it expires on September 2nd. Yeah, and I'm gonna eat it on September 1st. Why? Because I'm not gonna fucking waste a perfectly good chocolate, you know? That's also a fucking coping mechanism. Excuse, but I lasted like half a fucking year. What do you mean? And a lot of the cues you can put out is like I said, put your book there, put some dumbbells there. If you need to train grip often because you got a weak ass grip, put this always on your table. You see it, you be like, oh yeah, why not? Why not? Let me do my grip. Yeah, why not? Right. You know, or you need to gratitude. If you have a gratitude journal, always have it on hand, on the table. You see what I mean? Train discipline. We put something that motivates you to eat it, but you use your discipline to go against it. Okay, again, the cocaine incident, but you can reverse it and use it against, not against you, but in your favor. You can use it in your favor. And not a lot of people do that. Why do you keep your phone in your room when you're working, doing your homework? Bring, bring, bring. Oh, let me see what it is. I'm just gonna look, man. 3 hours you're on TikTok, Instagram news, whatever, man. Just from checking one notification. It is all meticulously crafted. It is a device that is smarter than you, dumbass. Okay? It's smarter than you. Especially AI. Especially some other person. You aren't as smart as you might think. It outsmarts you in ways you wouldn't even fathom. Having a PC setup in your room has its pros and cons. That's why your PC needs to be clear of any video games. When you open your PC, type in the code, it opens up. You should only be able to see your Word documents, your documents, anything important. No video games, no other bullshit, no YouTube, no other fucking Telegram, I don't know. Because that will mean you will give priority to the things that give more dopamine. And you will instantly go, oh, let's play a bit of Minecraft. You see what I mean? I don't know. Just saying. Or like some anime thing, Netflix, waste your time. Netflix is one of those things that waste your time the most. Where does David Gogins get his motivation though? David Gogins is a mix of him understanding his shortcomings and using it as motivation. And he has a lot of discipline from being in the Navy. He has become the 36th Navy African American Navy SEAL. They told him, you can't. It's almost impossible. You are 100 pounds overweight and you're almost getting too old. He proved them all wrong. He always had that mentality. It was like, what if I became the 36th African American Navy SEAL? You gotta have that attitude to it. That is his motivation. He creates it. That is 100% internally, all in the mind. And maybe like waking up, most people don't have motivation to wake up. So that's where he might use discipline, or run another mile. That's where he might use discipline when he's just out of his dopamine fuel. You know, let's say dopamine fuel is gas and he's got like a little bit of nitrous. Of course, if you know how cars work, you can't do that with nitrous. But just saying, let's say nitrous did work like a fuel source, that would be discipline. It's very small, one shot, drive at a fast speed, and then you completely run out. Nitrous doesn't work like that. It's you shooting air into it essentially and exploding the shit out of it. What else can you do for motivation? You need to create specific areas for each thing. Your bedroom needs to be your sleeping area. As soon as you enter your bedroom, you'll be like, damn, I could go sleep. As soon as you enter, like you've like designed an area, like when I enter or like sit down on my chair, this is my video recording area. When I lay down, I'm like here, I'm like, I could read a book. On the other side, like, oh, I could sleep. I've designated all areas. Downstairs, yeah, I've also designated it meditation, stretch exercises. All the way downstairs, I fucking exercise with a pull-up bar. That's also designated. As soon as you enter the area, you get reminded of it and you're motivated to do it. It's easier to do it when you're like, oh, it's there, so why not? Let's do it. And then also, let's go on the topic of extrinsic motivation. Every video that David Gogins ever made was never intrinsic motivation. It was always extrinsic motivation. Trying to motivate your fat ass to get off your chair and be enough motivated by my motivational speeches to go on a run, exercise, burn those fat. Everything will be against you. But external motivation, that's where I always say internal motivation is better, because there is a line it can't go past. Extrinsic motivation can't go past this wall of, okay, David Goggins motivated me externally, but the only person that can flip the switch in your head is you and only you. He can't go into your head and flip that switch. When you realize it, that's when you flip the switch and you be like, I can't stay like this. I can't be fat anymore. I can't be someone like that. I want to be successful. So you keep all of that in mind and you turn his extrinsic motivation into intrinsic motivation that you create yourself, and you go by every day with your excuses turned on his head. Now let me give you another example involving a chocolate bar. Well, there is 3 runners. One runner runs every day 1 mile. The second runner runs 1 mile every day. But when he gets to the halfway point, so 1.25 mile, he gets a chocolate bar. The third runner gets the chocolate bar all the way at the end. The first runner quits about 1 week in. He doesn't get motivated anymore by it. Or he needs to find an intrinsic motivation to keep going, which makes that first runner the most probable one to keep going with it. But it's extremely unlikely because everybody doesn't think the same way. The second runner will always be limited by the barrel. He'll be like, I just have to run a half mile and I get a chocolate bar. How good is that? So he doesn't run a full mile anymore. He does run every day, but always half. And the third runner always runs 1 mile to get the reward at the end. The dopamine spikes in the beginning and the dopamine spikes at the end. This is not a good, neither a bad, because you're doing a good task, but you are getting a reward that is bad. You know, you could motivate a cocaine addict to go run just by being like, I'll buy you free cocaine, 5 sniffs of cocaine every time you run 1 mile. Okay? But then there's another thing. What if you grabbed the third runner and when he finishes his 1 mile run, you give him a box of chocolates? Do you think he'll ever come back to run? No. He will not. He will never come back until the box is empty, or he doesn't want any more chocolates, or he wants, so he'll come and run 1 mile and get like 30 chocolate bars. Also, motivation is also attached to habits. You could get a habit that will just appear, like reading a book. You go in, it's a habit. Every time you go in your room, read, read, read. Where do you get that motivation from? Exactly. They're also pretty similarly attached to each other. And the habits, I've learned this from Atomic Habits, the book. There is 4 stages of the habit. It's cue, craving, response, reward. Let me give you an example. When you wake up and you feel sleepy, what do? You go drink coffee. That's your response to satisfy your craving of coffee. The reward is feeling awake and drinking a cup of coffee. What's the cue then? The cue is you waking up sleepy. What is the craving? You crave to feel awake. What's the response? You drink a cup of coffee. What is the reward? You feel awake. You can do this to literally anything. Let me find one for myself. I want knowledge, that's the cue. I crave to read a book. Response, I read the book. And the reward, I get knowledge. Like we talked earlier about happiness and depression and such, dopamine does play a role in it. That's why you're more likely to do your habits when you're happy than sad. So, the moral of the story is always try to be happy. When you are sad, you can just smile and just become happy. If you help people, you become happy. If you pray, you become happy. If you follow God, you become happy. You can do so many things that can make you happy, or maybe even make someone else happy, makes you happy, and makes you more likely to do the habit. Dopamine response says, it's a good day, so let's go do it. But that means, okay, you can do a lot of stuff to feel happy. You can also do a lot of stuff to feel super sad. Not helping people, being around depressive people, always just being like, yeah, I got a problem with this, a problem with that, sharing their whole life's problems. That will not keep you happy. Of course, let's say it's your friends. You need to accompany them and turn the tide from, damn, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry that you're going through stuff like that. But let's make this a memorable moment. We can't live in the past or in the future. We can only live in the present, and always get these quotes or whatever and make the guy happy, and you will be happy. You see? You turned something sad into something joyful. And you can make yourself happy by thinking about something sad. What if you wake up one day, you go downstairs, and you don't see your mother in the kitchen, where she always is? You look around the house, she isn't there. That's sad, right? But she is always there. She's always there for you. That makes you happy. There is so many things you can do about it. Depression, just when you know what to do. Depression, what is it even? You know? And I don't even believe in depression at this point. when there's so many solutions? Why are you drinking a pill that makes you infertile? Built by a company that makes Viagra to stiffen your dick. Like, come on. That's not gonna make you happy, a pill. Make you maybe even more sad. So you buy it repetitively. They make money off you of buying the Viagra and buying the depression pills. So do me one favor. Apply these things so you stay happy. Thank you for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, you all. I'm really grateful for you guys who watch my videos. And of course, pray to God, because you never know what happens. Always be grateful for every single moment and live in the present. Live in the present. That's what makes you happy. The purpose of this video was to put you in action, to learn you a little bit more about motivation and how it intertwines with dopamine. If you want to meditate or do any other task and you don't feel like doing the task, you are coping. Your mind is telling you reasons why you shouldn't do it. Then you could probably sit in front of a white wall, watch that wall for half an hour to 1 hour, and then you will be like, this is boring. Your dopamine receptors aren't firing at that moment. Then you think about meditation, and your dopamine receptors fire. They fire, they make you go, you do the meditation, and you feel happy that you did it. You did it. Finally. And now you can turn that into a habit with the 4 principles: cue, craving, response, reward. And now you can do anything with motivation and without